I'm presenting on the nutritional therapy for treating type 2 diabetes. So, diet plans of the past. Before the discovery of insulin shots, type 1 diabetes did not have many options. And at that time, type 1 diabetes was the most prevalent. Main suggestions included the starvation diet and the low carbohydrate diet. In 1922, insulin shots became widely available and the prevalence of both diets declined. The low carbohydrate diet was recommended less frequently, but the starvation diet practically died out completely. The prevailing thought of the time emphasized energy restriction and carb restriction, according to the food exchange table for diabetes. So what's the problem? Type 2 diabetes, obesity, and metabolic diseases affects over 1 million people worldwide, and 30 million people in the US have diabetes. Diabetes is the leading cause for mortality and morbidity, and especially shows an increase in cardiovascular disease. There are 3 current non-pharmaceutical approaches that demonstrate high rates, in the short term at least, of reversal or remission of type 2 diabetes. These include bariatric surgery with very low carb or calorie diets and nutritional ketosis, which is achieved through a carbohydrate restriction. Note that successful reversal of type 2 diabetes includes an achievement of a restored metabolic health, glycemic control, and in some cases, disease remission. Nutritional ketosis showed huge improvements of reversal at the 1-year mark, but have very limited studies past that. So this study focuses on following up on that study and observing the nutritional intervention of the nutritional ketosis at the 2-year mark to see if it holds merit compared to the other 2 non-pharmaceutical approaches. There are a limited number of studies for this nutritional intervention, as we said before, in terms of low-carb diets and nutritional ketosis. And the author had noted from the previous study that the intervention of nutritional ketosis had improvement in weight, glycemic outcomes, lipids, and various liver markers. The purpose of this study is to analyze the nutritional ketosis effects after the 2nd year. So follow-up to this 2-year study is an ongoing trial. And note that this is non-randomized. Data-based participants aged from either 21 to 65 with a confirmed diagnosis in type 2 diabetes. And they are selected to receive either continuous care intervention, CCI, or usual care. Usual care consists of their usual physician and some type of nutritionist. So here, as you see in this chart, it's split up into continuous care intervention, which there was about 316 participants, and usual care around 97. And with a few that were removed, it comes down to about 226 enrolled in the continuous care intervention and 87 into the usual care intervention. So, how was this continuous care intervention done? Participants were advised to achieve and maintain a nutritional ketosis throughout the course of the entire study. Blood BHB levels of 0.5 to 3.0 millimoles was to be maintained. Carb restriction of initially 30 grams, but gradually increased based on personal carb tolerance or health goals, was suggested. Daily protein intake was to be initially at 1.5 grams per kilogram of their weight. of the ideal body weight and individualize as it continues. Furthermore, sufficient dietary fats in meals to achieve satiety without tracking energy intake was instructed. Nutritional education suggests consumption of monosaturated fats, saturated fats, and taking omega-3 and omega-6 polyunsaturated fats. Furthermore, participants were encouraged to consume enough fluids as well as vitamins and minerals. This includes sodium and magnesium. So the continuous access to a web software with online web few of these factors include body weight, glucose levels, or BHB, and was more personalized. All participants had access to the app for communication with their care team, other online resources, and biomarker tracking. So the control group, earlier, this is the usual care group, which received primary physician or endocrinologist counseled would follow the American lifestyle and diabetes management. Routine weight, glucose levels, and ketones were not collected, but merely used as a control reference for the CCI group. So the results. Following the 2-year mark, CCI participants showed improvements in the HbA1c, fasting glucose, and insulin. These two are HbA1c level tests and the home. So both of these were notably less. These participants saw a 0.9% reduction in the blood glucose level test, which is comparable to other pharmaceutical trials. But this was achieved discontinuing 67% of diabetes-specific prescriptions, including most insulins and all sulfonylureas that engender risk for weight gain and hypoglycemia. Comparable improvements in glycemic control and reduced medication were not observed. This suggests that this nutritional intervention via nutritional ketosis had improvements relative to usual care. So there seemed to be, here we can see show insulin sensitivity and here we can see a few things, which is the frequency of dosage for these such as insulin, DPP-4, and other pharmaceutical drugs. These are just a few of the changes throughout the entire course of the trial. Other interventions include carb restriction reported long-term glycemic improvements. 0.9% of the blood glucose level observed at 2 years is consistent with low-carb studies, and further reductions of 8 to 15% at 2 to 3.5 years. Furthermore, criticism of low-carb diets relate to poor adherence and long-term sustainability. Positive results could be the cause of the continuous remote monitoring that CCI provided, feedback of the care system, which include behavioral support and nutritional advice via the app, and improve accountability and engagement. Majority of the continuous care individuals, 53.5% met the criteria for diabetes reversal at the 2-year mark, and 17.6% achieved diabetes remission. Their CCI achieved 10% mean weight loss comparable to surgical gastric banding at 2 years. Previous study consistently reported that weight loss increases the likelihood of type 2 diabetes remission. This was proven to be consistent with the study. Improvement in blood pressure, triglycerides, and HDL cholesterol was seen as well. Total cholesterol was unchanged, but LDL increased after 2 years. There was further reduction in visceral fat content. No adverse effects were reported during the 2-year mark. As you can see here, weight along with HDL, cholesterol, and fats, as you can see in these charts, both follow typically the same trend. At the 12-month mark, there was a huge decrease in all of these, and for the most part, after 2 years, more long-term, they continue to sustain that. Continuous care intervention, medical management instruments. Levels. Next remain consistent as well. Intensity and high reversal and remission rates compared with the usual care groups. Study provides evidence that there is success in nutritional ketosis, but more importantly, that the continuous care intervention components, such as constant remote medical management, guidance on nutritional ketosis, and general troubleshooting, whatever questions those patients had, those actually had an impact as well in keeping them consistent. Future directions of study will focus on the additional years and the long-term monitoring of the 5-year study. Further research in the long-term effects of nutritional ketosis in comparison to usual care is also pharmaceutical options, taking into consideration adverse effects of both.